Hi friends, good day. So yeah, this is a little bit sad, some sad news from the music industry. The gambler himself, Kenny Rogers, has passed away at the age of 81. He died at his home under hospice care. I wasn't, I mean, I was really upset when I heard about it because he's always been a personal favorite of mine. I grew up on his music my entire life, literally. All 3.5 decades of it. I grew up on his music. Um, I was a fan, always been a huge fan of his songs. My parents were, my grandparents were. His music has just had, for me personally, and I'm sure millions of fans around the world can relate. We just, everybody can relate to his music. There was something about him as a musician. He had so many hits. Everything he did was just amazing. Um, yeah, Kenny. So anyway, yeah, Kenny was born. Kenny was born August 21st, 1938. He was born in Texas. Um, he's done a total of, I think it's 28 studio albums he's recorded in total, and that's including like Christmas albums and holiday albums, which he did a few of. So I guess Kenny was a fan of Christmas. I also want to give a really quick shout out to Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was a very close friend of Kenny's, and I'm sure she's probably very upset right now about the death of Kenny Rogers. So I hope she's doing okay because I mean they did a lot of songs together, and I know they had a very close friendship. And also I want to say my deepest condolences to the family of Kenny Rogers and to his close friends. And as far as I know, the family will be having, for the time being, a very small private memorial or funeral service for Kenny because of this whole COVID-19 thing that's going on. I believe the family has announced that they will do like a public memorial so that fans and everybody can go and pay their respects and pay their tributes and everything. But now, obviously, is not the time for that. Um, so that will be at a later date. I don't think that date has been released yet by the family because I don't think the world really knows exactly, what's happening with this yet. Just so happens that Kenny Rogers passed away at a bad time with this whole COVID-19 pandemic thing. So anyway, before I bring this video to a close, I just want to talk about because, like I said, been a huge fan of his, and I'm not lying about that. Here's one of the albums. Anybody's record collection wouldn't be complete without The Gambler, and that's the back of the album. So, I mean, you have to have The Gambler, right? Whether you like country music or not, whether you're into Kenny Rogers or not, it's like The Gambler is just one of those albums that you just have to have. Like, who doesn't have the Gambler album? Come on. Another Kenny Rogers album that I have, one of my personal favorites is the Share Your Love album. And the song on this album, Share Your Love with Me, I actually have myself on tape, cassette. Remember cassette tapes? And I was just a little kid and I was singing Share Your Love with Me. Me and my grandmother were singing that song. And then the other songs that I sang were Coward of the County, Lady, I Don't Need You, Reuben James, I sang that one. Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town. I have myself embarrassing myself on tape singing all these songs. That's the back of the album. And you can see there's a picture on the back of the Share Your Love album with Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie was a really big contributor to this album. He did a lot of arrangements and he did a lot of songwriting for this album. Great album. I believe that one was released in 1981. Um, and then I have a couple other albums as well. These are greatest hits album. Actually probably this is probably my favorite Kenny Rogers album, and it's a greatest hits album. It just had so many great songs on it, and that's the back of it there. Yeah, look at all these songs, and this is not all of them. Like this man, it's like everything he did just seemed to turn to gold. And this is the album, the LP. It's on the Liberty. It's on the Liberty label, and this album is actually in pristine condition. If you can catch that, yeah, one of my favorites. Love this album. Although just for the sake of preserving it, I try not to play it very often. And of course, probably the most familiar sight, other than, Michael Jackson, Thriller, and Bat Out of Hell, certain albums like that. When you think of music, there's just certain images that come to your mind, and if this isn't one of them, I don't know what is. Another Kenny Rogers greatest hits album. If you look carefully, this is actually still in the original shrink wrap. Um, yeah, and it's been very well taken care of. It's been very well preserved over the years. I have other records of Kenny Rogers. I have 45s, got a few 45s. Mind you, I'm not gonna go through all those right now because I mean we could be here all day doing that, maybe a couple of days. And I've also got a couple of more LPs, and they're here somewhere. They may have gotten mixed in with some of my other ones. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, just a little tribute, little my little sort of memorial for Kenny Rogers from one Kenny to another. I say rest in peace, Kenny, and thank you for the music, and I salute you. And also, again, condolences to the family at this time. Take care, everybody.